I'm so with that.
Good. All right. So talk to me. You are a college professor, a former athlete, a coach now. You work out. You coach clients. You do all these things. You do the corporate wellness. You're on the camera. How does Dee do all this?
Yeah, you just made me tired right now. I don't know how I do it. I
Yeah.
just kind of I've done it, and I feel like as I got older, I've been able to manage my time so well. It's just like, okay, I got this. And literally I have to plan out my like commute from point A to point B, but like let's say Mondays and Wednesdays, I have class. So I make sure I fill those days up with classes at MSJC. And that's where I get to play with the students and do all the fitness with them. And then the later parts of the day, so from like noonish till about 2 before I have to get the kids, that's where I do my corporate fitness. So you probably didn't know this, but I do corporate fitness too, where I actually lead aerobics classes. Like I'm in front doing aerobics, like old school aerobics type step courses and stuff like that. And then on Fridays I travel out to LA and I'm on set, and that's where they film me and I'm in front of a camera doing fitness. And then I also in the early mornings, 4:30, 5 a.m., I'm at a gym nearby where I'm coaching CrossFit. And then I still have a small handful of clients that I train and help with meal prep, meal planning, and I track all of their progress online. And then, dang, there's more. And then I also help my kids. So I was helping coaching softball last year, but I took a
Yeah.
step from that. But I'm still very much hands on with my kids and their sports. My son does lacrosse, which is just ending right now. And then my daughter, she's in softball year round. And then she also does basketball. So we're a busy family here.
Yeah. So okay, for your let's go back to your aerobics. Are you in front of like people for that one, or is that one on camera?
That one I'm in person with the people. So they come in, they're like, Coach D, I want to do kickboxing today. They're very
Yeah.
bossy. They bully me. So I'm like, and it's cardio, which I'm not a cardio girl. I'm 44 now. So the cardio kind of kills me. I'm very much more focused on trying to maintain what I have for muscle because it's taken
Yeah.
me so long to build that.
Yeah.
But they think that sweating is a good workout.
Right,
So I
right.
have to give them something that's going to make them sweat, which I'm trying to also educate them. Like, you guys know that doesn't mean you got a good workout just because you're getting sweaty. Like, they're all my age and they're
Right.
all women. I'm like, you guys have to learn how to put the muscle on. That's what's going to help you throughout your later phases in life. But they don't listen to me. They're like, no, just make me sweat. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
okay,
funny
so
because like you're in good shape and you're lean, right? And people even for me, like I'm not a buff guy. So they assume like, oh, you must do a lot of cardio. I'm like, no, I actually do very little. Like this is like just me with a lot of muscle, right? And same for you. So I think if you are leaner, they just think, oh, she must do insane amount of miles, all this. Like, no, actually this is muscle, right? So it's hard to
I'm so triggered right now. So like when I'm with my students, they're so cute because I'll when it's hot and I work out with them because I want to lead by example. I'll
right.
take off my shirt or my jacket and they're like, "Whoa!" They taught me a new term. They said, "Coach D, you got that sleeper build." I'm like, like you're ripped. I'm like, oh, okay. But at the stores, the women are always like, "Oh, you must do a lot of yoga or a lot of Pilates." I feel like I've never lifted a weight in my life when they tell me that. I'm like, oh, you have no idea like how long I've been lifting. I've been like since my 20s. Before my 20s, I've been in the gym. I feel like, and you're 40s, right?
I'm 40 exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So our generation, I feel like we had so much workout literacy. We already had that built because we were playing outside.
Mm.
I don't know about you, but like I feel like everyone our age, our parents were always instilling in us like be outside, go play,
Right,
play
right.
sports, get fit. Like I grew up watching my mom and dad work out,
Yeah.
so
They had to like
they kind
drag
of
us back in because we're outside. Like
yeah,
we'd be like,
come in,
they'd be
honey.
like the light you can't you got to come in when the lights come out. You're like, oh,
The street lights.
no, it's not out, it's not out, it's not out yet. You're like, oh crap,
Yep.
I gotta run back
Yeah,
home.
think about all the things we did that
Right,
kids, in the later generations didn't have to like we were having rock
right,
fights, throwing rocks
right.
at each other,
Yep,
jumping over cars to get away from a boulder getting thrown at our head,
right,
climbing trees. We were on the like people don't know what a jungle gym is.
right, right.
It's crazy. We were learning already body awareness,
Right.
balance. We were just gaining strength climbing. Like
Without
I
being coached.
without being
That's
coached.
the main thing,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And then we stepped into a gym. We had a foundation
Right.
before we stepped in that gym. Some people that step into a gym these days, I'm like, yikes. Like we got to build this foundation before we go anywhere,
Right.
anywhere else.
It's crazy because like
So,
it's like coordination. I'm like left hand, and they're like yes, yes. I'm like no, that's your right. They're like oh crap, like they just like can't figure it out. Left, right. It's like oh my gosh, like so many of these people are so unaware. So with let's go to your on camera experience teaching people. Was that hard for you to be in front of a camera at first, or were you just because you're like a perky person? Or was it pretty easy for you? Like, talk to me about that. That seems pretty interesting.
oh, you know what made it easy? COVID.
Hmm.
The work from home. So I worked under a really cool person. Her name was Sam Clayton. She was my boss, and now we're like really cool friends.
Yeah.
She started the sports performance department over at Herbalife, and I had just gotten
Oh,
a
cool.
job working at their corporate. And so she actually hired me because she took one of my abdominal classes. So I did an abs class and I coordinated to music and stuff. And she
Yeah.
said, I really like your class. You're
Yeah.
going to work with me, and right away put me in front of a camera on this set with cameras, lights, production, hair, makeup. And I was just like, whoa, I was like, all right, D, you got to turn it on. Like
Yeah.
it's go time. So that was how I got on camera. And the girl that owns the whole production, I actually went to college with her. Like me and her,
Oh,
we were
cool.
like, yeah, we used to drink together. I was like, hey, I know you. And she was like, I know you. And so,
Yeah.
so it made it an even better experience. I got to meet her husband and it was really cool. We got to catch up. So that experience was hard, but also easy. That makes sense. Like it
Uh,
was nerve wracking, but also like, oh, it's not as hard as I thought it'd be.
That's cool. I think it's also like crazy how small the world is, right? And I think like you said, you're drinking with this person, partying, like like you could say drinking's bad or but like sometimes through these connections, you never know what's going to happen 20 years down the line, right? Like I tell
Yeah.
students all the time, like you want to like make friends with as many people as possible. Not necessarily to gain a career, but it may happen later on in your life where like you met this person in college and like you were a pretty cool dude or a pretty good cool gal and these things will happen. Like you build these connections now when you're in college and then later on it'll come back. Or the other side of it, that if you were just like a bad student, a bad teammate, like those opportunities, they aren't going to be there, right? I want to talk about, okay, you do all these things, you're up early. Like I've got to kind of coach alongside you, watch you. How are you able to bring the juice like that every day? Like, for us, we're a little bit older, and it's sometimes they walk in, those students walk in, they're like dragging their feet, head down, and it can bring us down too. But how are you able to like bring them up? Like, what are some things that you do to like you bring it every day?
Um, I pick on them. I
You-
hate saying that, but it's kind of true.
Right,
And I'm also a mom, and and I've coached young girls
right.
also. So I've coached those girls they're at an age right now where they love to roast. So I think I do that
Yes.
with my students, and they kind of they resonate so well with that, and
Right,
it's been working. But I think I remember what it was like at that age, so
yeah,
I think I could put myself, and I see myself in a lot of them. So I just tell them that, and I'm very good at like, hey, look, I remember when I was your age. I remember I didn't have to worry about anything like what you guys have to worry about. Like you guys have the pressures of all the news of the world, good and bad, in the palm of your hands, and you're
right,
watching that. Like that's stressful. You
right,
guys went through a school at home. Like some of them didn't get to walk the stage to graduate because
right,
of like they went through a lot. So I'll bring up that kind of stuff. I make sure I'm like really cool, laid back with them. I'm not a very like you got to do this by the book because I work as a physical education. Like I feel like that should be fun. There's some kids that have never played sports, and the gym is sometimes that sport for them. That's what they feel good at. They're like, oh man, I got cut from football, I got cut from baseball, but in the gym, I'm doing it. And so I kind of empower that with them. I guess I don't know. I It could just be me too. I'm very
yeah,
hyper.
yeah.
I think they feed off that.
Yeah, like no, when I see you coach, like I'm very similar. I roast people too. I'll be like, dude, I'm 40, I'm half your size, I'm picking that up. You can do it too. And then they're like,
Yeah.
oh crap, you're right. I think it's powerful actually. I don't know about you, but I've been around PE teachers. I'm like, dude, come on. you can't do that. You don't do that. So like seeing that, I was like, I'm never gonna be like that, you know. So I try to
100.
be
I
in
love
shape.
that.
Like I always try to be in shape. So I'll do workout with them, and I think it empowers them. They're like, holy crap, if this person's old and they're getting, we're old to them. They get after it. Like I have no excuse too. So I think I've seen you do that too. I think it's pretty cool.
I love working out with them. They need to see that so much because as a girl growing up in
Oh,
sports, it was always this old overweight dad.
yes.
Literally,
Right.
literally one came to my practice drinking a beer, coaching us. And I was like, and he would make us run laps. I'm like, you run a lap. Can you even run like 100 yards, bro? Like it would like as a little kid, I was infuriated by that.
Yeah.
So, as an adult, and I share that story with my students too, and they're like, all right. I was like, so if I'm gonna make you guys do these fitness tests, guess who else is gonna do it? And
Right.
I'll be like, and guess who else is gonna beat you? And they're
Right.
like, come on, Coach D. And I do. I beat them every time. Guess what
Yeah.
they get? But hopefully they take that, put that in their back pocket, and hold that with them for the rest of their lives. So that way they can aspire to be the same way. So that way their lives can be easy. Otherwise health deteriorates so fast as you age.
Yeah, and I think like sometimes like I'm sure they're shocked too when you tell them their age. You're like, what the heck? I'm like, yeah,
Oh
like
yeah.
see what happens when you like take care of yourself. I think taking your like lifting weights, staying in shape, playing. I think it's important for being healthy and young. But I also think it's like having that youthful spirit, like roasting them, like telling jokes about yourself. Like one of the things I've learned as I've gotten older is like it's the people who seem younger are the ones that can make a joke about anything. Like even if it's like a bad thing, they'll find a light in it. They'll make fun of it. They're not afraid to make fun of themselves sometimes, and I've noticed that. And I was like, it's pretty cool. It's like it's humbling, and I think it allows people to be like more free as well.
Yeah, and then I feel like you're a more approachable,
Yeah,
realistic person that way. But I think I've always been like that too, because that's how my family was. And then
right.
I've met people that aren't like that. Now, they give you
Yeah.
like a bad
Like,
vibe. You don't want to hang out
like,
with those
yeah,
kind of
like what's
people.
wrong with you?
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah,
oh no, you're kind of
yeah,
icky. I don't want to
yeah.
hang out with you. Yeah, so I don't know. The college kids are one of my favorites though, because I feel like with every semester I feel like I'm turning their lives around because there's some that's
Yeah.
never even done anything
Right,
fitness, nothing,
right.
not PE. What do they do for PE? Like back in middle school, they walk a lap and that's it.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's
The,
sad.
the PE they went through was a little bit different. Like I don't know what changed. I don't know enough about it, but I do know that like we didn't have like excuses. Like we just had to like dress out and had to do it. And at some point they didn't have to do that, right? It's funny. I just remember it too. Somehow during one of your classes, I did the beat test. Like,
Oh yeah.
did you tell me to do it or did I do it? I don't even
I
know.
told you, I told you, and you were so down. You're like, I'm in. I was like, yes. I was like,
Yeah.
you guys got to beat coach.
Yeah. It was cool because like there's some were like, damn, I'm keeping up. And there was that one
Yeah.
kid, he beat me, man. It was so I'm like, damn, I kept looking at him like he's not getting tired. And he
You
finally,
just trip them. You're like,
yeah,
pow.
I was like, this guy's insane, man. It was tough.
Yeah, those are he was a soccer player.
Yeah, I'm like, holy crap, man.
Yeah.
That's
He
freaking
had he had amazing endurance on the field with his running. And usually the soccer players are like that. But my students that were in sports, they're usually the ones that excel at that beep test.
yeah,
And then I'll show them other tests. So I'll test their cardio respiratory and then I test their like muscle endurance with the push-up test. Or
yeah.
I love the barbell beep test. Have you ever seen my class do that?
The barbell beep test?
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with
yeah,
that.
so it's I believe it's a YMCA beep test. So they
Oh,
have to
bench press,
count
the
down.
bench
So it's
press test.
beep, bench
Yeah.
press. What did I
Okay.
say?
Yeah, you said the bench, the bar bench, the beep test. I was like, what is that?
My bad. Yeah, bench press. It's a but it's to a cadence.
All
So
right.
you'll hear the tempo beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep. And so I did the women's weight, which for me it was I think
It's
women's
like
weight, what is it?
65 pounds.
It's less. I want to say wait, yeah, you're right. 65 guys
Yeah.
is 80.
Right.
So I did the women's weight and the guys were just watching me and I did like almost 200
Right. Right.
reps. They were like, yeah, you beat
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not fair, coach. You should do the men's weight. I'm like, no, but I'm not a man.
But I think like those tests that like you and I learned, those aren't as common in regular fitness. So it's very intimidating and they can't do it versus like a 65-pound bench press. They can do that a couple of times and it builds a win for them. I think these
Oh
people
yeah.
need wins, right? No matter how small they are. They were like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, dude, it's okay. That's a win for you, right? You build off of that, you know? And for me, similar to you, it's nice to say let's say you teach them like a workout. You have one of your workouts. They're like, "Oh, coach, I did the 2010." I'm like, "You're still doing that?" You'll run into them a couple years later, and they say they're still doing X workout you taught them. That's such a cool feeling.
I know. I love that. You know, when I recently ran into one of my students at Starbucks,
Yeah.
and so I pull up to the window, and it was my student, and he goes, "Oh, Coach D." I was like, "Oh shit, what's up?" I was like, "What's up?" I said hi to him. I remembered his name and everything. He's like, "You're the reason I still train delts. Look how big my shoulders got."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yes." He was like flexing his shoulder at me through the window. I was like, "This is so awesome." I was like, "That was better than a paycheck right now." I got my
Yeah.
Starbucks and left. I was
Yeah,
like, "So
it's
cool."
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
really cool.
So you said you plan out your whole day. Does that include meals? Like, is everything on Sundays? You start laying out your week. You use your Google Calendar. You put this thing there. You put when you meal prep, when you calendar. Like, how do you do all that?
Oh man, meal preps lately have been a hit or miss. So I usually will meal prep Wednesdays and Sundays. Those are my days.
Mhm.
All I do is throw a bunch of chicken breasts in the oven. I cook a pot of rice and
Yeah.
I put those together. And then whatever veggies I could, it's always frozen veggies.
Right.
Sometimes I'll get fresh. But because I'm running around so much,
Yeah.
it doesn't always pan out. It'll be a
Sure.
freaking shake or a bar.
That's fine. Yeah, I think
That's
it's
that's
good
been
to
my
yeah, it's good to hear those things too. Like I do like a lot of yogurt. Like I do things I try to microwave because I'm running around so much. So it's like yogurt and berries, beef jerky, bars. I try to do no more than one bar a day, no more than one shake a day.
same.
You know, so
Same.
but
But sometimes it is a shake in a bar, and I'm like, dang, I gotta
right.
get some real food. But I do okay. And I'm not a stranger because I did bodybuilding in 2018.
Oh wow, okay.
And yeah, and I know how to scarf down my food if it's cold. Like I was eating cold asparagus and fish that was sitting in the car all day, and I'm like, whatever. My stomach is like iron. I have an iron stomach. I'll be fine. So if I do meal prep, I'll have my containers in the car with me or in my little bag, and I'll just scarf them down when I need to. But honestly, when I'm in a or when I my day is jam packed like that,
Mhm.
the first thing I can grab is something easy. I can't use my fork or whatever. It's like a bar.
Right.
That's like the coolest thing I could do. And I like those the muscle milks and the
Oh yeah.
like the cardboard
Yeah,
container
yeah, yeah.
little
Not the
yeah,
cold ones, not the cold ones.
not the cold ones. The,
Yeah.
the ones I can just store anywhere. I'll
Yeah.
I'll drink those too.
Yeah.
But it's that's one of my biggest challenges right now. But as long as I'm eating, I'm fine.
Right.
I feel like the older I got, my metabolism has gotten like crazy high. Like I need
Yeah.
to eat so much lately.
Yeah.
So like you'll see me, I always have a banana or an
Yeah.
apple. Those are like my go-tos. And then I used to do Quest bars, but now I'm on that David bar tip.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are good.
Yeah, so now I'll do those.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, those are like my staples. But I'll get in a good at least two good real solid meals a day.
Yeah.
When I'm real good, it's four or five. That's when I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
But
It's funny.
it's
It's
hard
almost
to
a little
do.
bit backwards for women sometimes. Like, you guys get more tests later on, so you're probably feeling some of that too, and your
Oh
lips.
man, so
You're probably,
girl, let me tell you,
you're probably feeling a
I'm
little more
going.
aggro sometimes.
Well, I'm going through what's called perimenopause, I
Yeah.
guess. So I'll get blood tests just to see where I'm at because you have to see where your hormone levels are at. So I realized like once I turned like 43, I started feeling this crazy dip in energy. Like I was getting real tired.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was literally dragging my face off the floor to get from
Oh,
point A to point B. Yeah. And
yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? And they're like, oh, your testosterone is low. And I'm like, it's supposed to be low. I'm a
Right.
girl.
Right. Right.
And they're
Right.
like, no, you have to be at around 100. You're at like point 0.1. Like you're
Right.
really low.
Right.
And so they were like, and so they wanted to start me on hormone replacement therapy. And I was like, I don't know. I'm
Right.
thinking about it. It's really expensive and it's something insurance doesn't cover because it's
Oh,
like a
shit.
woman thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not
It's
good.
I don't think any insurances cover it. So you got to pay out of pocket, which sucks. Unless you
That's
find some kind of program or I don't know, voted into Congress or
Well, it's
some
crazy
shit.
because that's something that like can make you healthy, and I think like a lot of the gastric bypass that's covered, but that's not.
It's crazy, yeah. And there's all kinds of surgeries that are covered that I'm like, what? But this is something I can't help. I'm like, why is this not covered?
Yeah,
So I do things like watching my diet, making sure my carbs are high, making sure I get sleep is a big one. Sleep
Right,
is
right.
one thing that and I'm doing okay now with
Mhm.
it, but I used to get up at 3 a.m. My body just like bing, wide
Yeah,
awake. And there's a lot of other women that deal with that too, and their sleep is really bad. So they go through their days like it's like
right,
they're like suffering.
right,
Um, yeah, and then I just have to watch because when you're coaching, you're still using a lot of energy.
right, right.
So
It's like
I
sometimes
have to
like I
watch
don't train
burnout.
as hard because like my day is full of walking around, yelling, you know. So
And
like,
demoing and
I,
like
I,
correcting
yeah,
and
I'll
getting
demo,
frustrated.
yeah, I'll demo, yeah, getting frustrated and demoing
Yeah,
again. You know?
yeah.
'Cause
But
I'm like sure, like,
talking and
I'm gonna
demoing,
demo one time, and sometimes I'm like, dude, I'm like, are you guys not watching at all? Like,
are
what are
you?
you looking at? What are you guys looking at? Like, I, I,
you
I say it, it's on the board, I've demoed it, and you're doing the wrong thing, the wrong reps. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know. But yeah, and it gets tiring, you know. Like, I'll
oh
demo
man.
again, but it gets tiring sometimes, you know.
It becomes very monotonous because if you've been doing it for that long,
Yeah.
like for me, probably for you too, over
Yeah.
20 years, right? Of
Yeah.
just it's the same thing over and over and having the same conversations over and over. And it's oh, so what do you take? What are your supplements? I'm like, can you
Oh, does
build a
that piss you
foundation for
off?
yourself?
Like, was that one of your
It
students asked
starts,
you,
it starts to, it
what's your
depends on my
peptide
mood.
stack? Like, what's your stack? What are you running?
Yeah. I'm like, wait, what? I'm
Right,
like, you no supplement is going to help build the foundation that you need. Like you need to build that foundation first
right,
and then maybe later think about a supplement. But you need to understand that getting in the gym and putting on that armor, that muscle is very important. Building the body awareness, understanding how your body moves in space and
yeah,
knowing how to do a lunge.
right,
God forbid.
right,
that just teaching a lunge or like people can't differentiate what a squat, a hinge is
right,
compared or what a deadlift is to a squat.
yeah.
Whoo, trying to coach that over and over. I'm
Or
like,
they're
man,
like
those
doing a back squat, but it's like a good morning. There's like, I'm
it's a
like,
good
dang, that's a
morning.
hell of a good morning, dude. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. So I mean, I love working with them because once it clicks, then they're like, I never knew this. It's
Right,
like a whole new world for them. So I'm like, okay, gosh, good. And I've used every cue in the book. It's
right, right, right,
like
right.
you work so hard to get them there. Yeah, I'm like, okay, visual, I give them on
Yeah,
audio,
right,
kinesthetic. Okay. The next is I just gotta slap them.
yeah.
The next
It's
cue.
funny because
But
it was like that for me as an athlete too. For the longest time, I was like a really bad at hang cleans. And like, I was watching it, doing it, but then somehow I saw a poster one day. And that poster, a still picture of a clean, like different frames of each part, it clicked. Like it was crazy. I had to look at a picture for it to finally click. I think it'd be cool to throw some of those posters around in our little room now, little gym. This is maybe that might click for them too.
yeah, do you have a lot of students that like those type of lifts?
No, no, not necessarily. Like sometimes, like it's usually when I like do them is when they're like curious. Like then they're like they want to learn. Like especially with the kettlebells. Just like a month ago, I was doing like some rack carries, just different carries with the kettlebells, and then bigger student. He's like, oh, can I do them? Like, yeah, you can do it. Just if you can pick it up, I'll teach you how to do it. You
Mm.
pick it up. They're like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, like that. That's like my one of my favorite things to do now, like as an older coach or whatever. Nothing crazy. I'll grab like a 40-pound dumbbell. I'm like, all right, we're gonna do some dumbbell rows here, and I'll do the dumbbell row. Make it nonchalant as possible. Then you'll see someone trying to do it and they can't do it. They're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, that's
mess with
I
them a
love
little
it.
bit, because
Yeah.
they haven't been in the weight room, so they have no idea, and it's like nothing crazy for us, but they're like, holy crap, so it's kind of fun to mess with them a little bit.
I think it's inspiring though. I think
Yeah.
at their age they see us as inspiring, which I think is cool because I've one of my students, he was a football player, I think, in
Mhm.
high school, maybe a little bit in college, but he was always like, "Oh yeah, you get to work out with Professor Troy too. He's really good. You guys are really good." He'd always bring up your name too. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Do you want us to like compete against each other or something?" And
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, that'd be fun to watch." I'm
Yeah.
like,
So that's cool. That's cool that you do that. So your kids are a little bit older. My kid's 7. How did you get your kids to like train, work out, play sports? Was it something they kind of just watched you do and they did it? Like, what are some things you did to make your kids kind of active and healthy?
they came out of the womb already like with that in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right after birth I was up moving, getting some bicep curls. I was doing whatever I can.
Right.
And then when they were babies before they for like 6 months, I built my gym in my garage,
Mhm.
and I was taking clients and stuff, and still coaching, and they were always around. They always saw it, and then I was bringing them when I was competing. I was bringing them to the gym. When they were old enough to even pick up a barbell, that's when I started my Olympic weightlifting competitions, and
Right,
I was like training for meets, and my daughter one time, so she would always watch me, and those trainings are hours long. So she
right,
was in the
right.
gym with me forever. She went on the platform, and I remember my coach sitting back, he's watching her. She gets on the platform, right? We're all watching. At this point, all the
All
gym,
right.
all our eyes are on her, right? And I'm just sitting there like, let's see what she's gonna do.
Yeah.
Picks up the barbell, cleans it perfect, jerks it perfect, split jerk, boom, hits it. And my coach looks at me, and I'm like, I don't know what that came from.
Yeah.
And she puts the barbell down. He's like, you want her to train with us? We're gonna put her on the platform. She's gonna do a
Yeah.
meet. She was like 5 or 6. She was 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She picked it up, clean and jerked it like nothing. And that was just all from visual. She just picked that up from watching. So
Wow.
it was cool. And that was a 15 pound, no, 10 pound bar, like a training bar.
Yeah.
So, and she was 5. She did
Right.
like nothing. Perfect, like beautiful form. I
Yeah.
was like, what the heck? It's
That's
crazy.
crazy. That's so cool. So, I mean, I think it has to do with like the environment, right? Like, I talked to another person. They were saying that like, how do you get your kids to eat healthy? Well, I don't cook them dino nuggets. They just eat what I eat. If I eat healthy, they're gonna eat healthy. If they understand like foods, then if you're doing those things, they're just gonna do it, right? So it's like a tough answer sometimes for some of these parents to ask us these things. I just tell them like, hey, like I'm not trying to pick on you or bully you as a little guy, but it's like if I am doing these things, like my kid's gonna do these things, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I remember there was a stint like where I was doing like a meal prep for myself.
Mhm.
And then if they would eat it, I would get mad. So I would make them dino nuggets.
Yeah.
Because during bodybuilding, I'm
Oh, you
like,
can't, yeah, you can't do that. Yeah.
it's down to the ounce. Like it's
Right.
measured from the gram. So if they
Right.
eat a gram out, I'm off. I'm like,
Yeah.
get away from my meal prep. Here's your dino nuggets. So
Man,
there was that. But for the most part, like we all eat the same thing. Like it's the easiest way for me and my husband to get the groceries done, get the food
right.
done. And they complain because they have family members like my
Right.
in-laws that like to eat fast food and stuff.
Yeah.
So they love that stuff. And then I do like boba, like those bubble
Oh, I love
drinks.
boba. Yeah.
I do love boba. So like we'll have our days where we'll go have like a boba day, and sometimes I'll do family like a outside we have like a fire pit, and we'll do s'mores. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's fine as long as we only do that like once every
Yeah.
3 to 4 months,
Right. Yeah.
So
And we're still like human, I still do like
yeah,
things like, one thing I do for my kids, like I'm like, you can eat that. Like, what are you gonna eat for protein? Like, tell me what you're gonna eat for protein. I don't really care as long as you eat your protein. He's all this, and like, he learned like what protein was at a very young age. Like, these are things that are
yep,
important. You can eat that, just eat protein. Like, eat that, eat protein. So, okay, can I have this? Can I have that? I'm like, yeah, eat protein. Like it's not like we're so restrictive. Like, I don't want to be the people at the birthday party, and we're just sitting here like this, not socializing.
right,
Because
right,
all that
yeah,
stuff's important, right? Like you said, like if you were some weirdo back in college who didn't drink, not that drinking is like you're not a weirdo, but you get what I'm saying, like because you're so healthy, I mean, there's reasons why people don't drink, but um, yeah, if you like you didn't build that connection, so I think like sometimes like those things are important because we are a culture of food and drinking sometimes, right?
yes, and that's how it is here, at
Right,
least,
right,
where that's how I grew up.
right,
And I like hanging with people, and if they
yeah,
want to have a beer, oh well.
right, right.
Um, yeah, even though now these days, like I can't do a beer anymore.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
too
do.
old for that now.
I drink
Yeah,
wine. I'll have a glass like a couple times a week, but that's it.
yeah, I could do maybe a glass of wine, but even that, like, oh man, I don't know. Maybe I just aged out of it,
Well,
but
the trick is to do it early. I tell like my clients who drink, I'm like, dude, just if you want to drink, like day drink, don't night drink, because it just it's such a bad thing because it's messing up your sleep, then your next day's messed up.
yeah,
Drink early enough where it's like out of your system, you'll still like get your sleep, and you won't get into trouble because it's daytime. Like there's good things of drinking during the day if you are going to drink.
yeah. Well, I have to give my friends a warning, like, hey, I get in trouble without wine, so
Yeah,
so don't give me. You want me to go to jail? Don't make me drink. Come on.
yeah, that's funny.
No, But my kids are just like how you teach your son. I taught them how to read labels because that's what I was doing, and they were at a age where they could pick it up when I was bodybuilding. So of course I was all on the labels,
Yeah.
tracking macros and sugar intake, salt intake, all that stuff. So they learned that. So now, and my daughter is funny because I had one of my friends babysit her,
Mhm.
and my son was in school, so he wasn't there. But I came home after work, and my friend goes, "Hey Dee," and I was like, "What's up?" She's like, your daughter said something funny. And I was like, oh no, what'd she
Yeah.
say? And she was like, she said that she can't have any milk because she doesn't want to get diabetes. And I was like, what? I guess she could my friend was gonna buy her chocolate milk or it was something
Oh,
like that. But
uh,
but my daughter was like, no, I can't because I don't want to get diabetes. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I remember telling them like, hey, because diabetes does run on my side and her father's side. So I told my
okay.
daughter, hey, you got to watch your sugar intake because this is was during the time when she was little and she got introduced to candy and she was like addicted to
Right.
candy for this
Yeah.
for a hot minute. Like
Right.
I would hide her. It was a Halloween like
Yeah. Yeah.
jack-o'-lantern
Yeah.
bucket. I hid that like far up in a cabinet.
Mhm.
She sniffed it out like a shark smells blood in the water
Yeah.
and ate the whole thing. And that's when I had to have that talk with her like, hey, this is why we can't have sugar. Like, sugar is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But at the amount you're consuming, if you do that a lot, this is
Right.
what's going to happen. And so she told she told the babysitter that she
That's
was going to
funny.
get diabetes. I was like, oh my gosh.
So
So
not that bodybuilding is not athletic, but you're like an a athlete. How did you get into bodybuilding?
It was just a goal. I'm very all about goals, right? I have to have a mission, otherwise I'm like, what am I training for? I want to have a mission so that way I can work towards something and then get there. But not only for the aesthetics purpose, but I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it because my entire family was so unsupportive. Like you're not
Mhm.
gonna do it,
Right.
and I was like, oh yeah, you want to watch me,
Yeah.
mofos?
Yeah.
And so I started meal prep. I actually hired a coach from Metroflex,
Mhm.
which man, she kind of, and this is why I got into CrossFit. She kind of like dissed me.
Mhm.
I paid her a big amount of money for her to come to my house and take notes. And then she sent me this very cookie cutter plan, which I probably could have done
Right.
on my own and then never really checked in or anything. And I remember always calling her, always texting her just to build some kind of connection because it was my first time ever
Right. Right.
doing it. And so she kind of fell off. I never contacted her and I was like, all right, there goes that money and that time. So I took it upon myself. I researched and then like I got that job at Herbalife. I met a really cool lady that was involved in the International Natural Bodybuilding Association.
Mhm.
She was getting into judging at that point, and so she was telling me about posing. She's like, I can give you some pointers. I'll guide you. So she was kind of like a mentor to me in that when I was in that stage of my life and helped me get on stage. So she helped me with posing. She helped me buy a suit, like pick a suit. And she told me to do the bigger girl. So I did figure, not bikini, because I was thinking of bikini because that's what everyone thinks of.
Right.
And
Right.
she's like, no, you got muscle. She's like, let's
Yeah.
let's go figure.
Yeah.
And so I did figure. And I remember, oh man, just it was so many freaking trips to the grocery store to buy meat.
Yeah.
It was a lot of chicken and ground turkey and fish, chicken, ground turkey, fish, chicken, ground turkey, fish. Um, a lot of asparagus. And then I also really, I think I went a little too hard on myself
Mhm.
because I also did a little bit of water and salt manipulation to really shrink
Oh,
it
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I made the mistake of my very first show. I still placed first overall, but my very first show, the day of the show, I was like so low on energy. I
Mhm.
drank a monster and it made me like flat. Like I got flat. Like you couldn't see like the cuts in my stomach. I just looked like no cuts, but
Yeah.
still okay, but not as good as sharp as like as cut. I wanted to, I wanted to come in at my best, but I messed up doing that
Yeah.
because everyone was in a bad mood. You go into like the pump room and everyone gets like
Yeah.
pumped and they're getting their pump on and they're putting on their suits and their last minute spray tans and gluing their bikinis down and they were all mad at like nothing. They're like mad at everything and I was like, I don't so I drank my energy drink because I was like, I need to
Right. Right.
get on stage. I was nervous. And I got came in a little flat, but I did really well. And I did it twice. So I was on prep for 8 months.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I dropped body fat really fast, which I thought was going to be really hard, but I did really, really good. And I remember them when they call your number to get in the middle, I kept going center stage. So I was like excited, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to place. And I remember when they were calling names, they were like, third place is so and so, second place got so and so. And I was like, oh man, I didn't make it.
Oh,
And
fuck.
then they called me, and I was like, what? Are
Yeah.
you sure? I was like, are you sure? I was in like shock.
Yeah.
And then I went, did the World Cup, and I remember everyone like talking about not being able to beat the Austria, the Australians. I forget, but it was like World Cup in Torrance
Hmm.
for the natural bodybuilding contest, and there was like a cup like someone from Paraguay, someone from here and there that I was never going to beat, and I ended up beating them too, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I did really really good. But I felt like it was just such a hard sport because there's so much the tracking and the numbers I got really consumed with,
Right.
and I didn't like feeling small. I was actually small. I felt small. Like right now, I feel a lot bigger because I'm full. I have energy. Um, when I was bodybuilding, I didn't feel like that.
Mhm.
I felt weak,
Yeah.
you know.
So since you've
So
gone through that process, like health wise, like I know you may look better then than you do now. Do you feel like health wise, it's more not so much the bodybuilding, more of what you're doing now, like for overall health?
I think it changes through the generations. So I feel like in my 20s, I was building a foundation,
Right.
right? And then I was practicing like the healthy habits, getting in the gym,
Mhm.
and of course training for looks,
Right.
but still
Yeah.
getting in the
Yeah.
compound movements to be strong. And then in my 30s, like I was working on like the balance of my bodybuilding and fitness and family and my jobs and all of that and training. I guess for bodybuilding, it wasn't really aesthetic for me. It was more for like, I need to win to show people I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my goal. But in the bigger picture of it, it was I was trying to become more resilient because I knew I was getting older and I had kids now,
Right.
and I
Right.
was a mom. Like I wanted to be able to live healthy for them
Mhm.
and be a good role model for them. And then now that I'm in my 40s, I'm really working hard to preserve my muscle mass and to be smarter about my fitness. Um, just to get ready for, what's to come, like the menopause and
Right.
like the
Right.
testosterone changes and stuff
Right.
like that that's
Right.
been happening in my body. So it's I think through the generations and stuff, your fitness should change with
Yeah.
you, and fitness should fit into your life and not consume your life. I think
Right.
that's why I only did bodybuilding for a stint,
Mhm.
because some people were in it way too hard and too long.
Yeah. Yeah.
um Same with CrossFit.
Right.
Sometimes I'm like,
All
oh
of
my
those
God.
things, they get so they have that identity and say, I'm a power lifter.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you don't have to be that for your whole life, you know. Like you could be whatever, you know. You could change based on the decade you're in or every year. Like I vary my training like quite a bit, you know.
Yeah.
If I do things that I find enjoyable, you know. Like you said kind of earlier, like just make it fun. If you make it fun, people are gonna want to do it, you know. Because I think
Yeah.
there's a camp out there on fitness, like fitness should be a grind. I'm like, yeah, there is some of that, but it's also like people aren't gonna like come to your 12 o'clock corporate wellness class if they're not having fun, they're not getting what they want. So those
Yeah.
things have to be a component of it, right? So
Yeah, for sure. I feel like God gave us this body with all these lever systems and pulley systems because we're meant to move, and we're meant to move and carry and in all different planes of motion, right? So if I don't have that for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be decrepit. Like I need to be able to move and do things and get like my grandchild and throw them up in the air and catch them and throw them in the pool and then swim after them and save their lives. Like all of that. I want to do all of that. So I like went, and I think that's why I do like some components of CrossFit, because there is that like athlete in me that wants, because I've also done sports. I've also ran triathlons. I've also fought, and I've done jujitsu, and I've done so like strongman training. I've done Olympic weightlift meets. I've done CrossFit freaking competitions. I do everything
yeah,
because I want to see everything that's out there. I want to experiment on my own body and see what it can do. You
Right.
know, I feel like that's what God made us for.
Right. I think it's so important to do it all. We have so little time on this planet and this meat vessel that we want to try it all and feel it out. And I think it makes you a better practitioner, right? You can't just be
Yeah.
like, yeah, you could try CrossFit, but you have some experience. You have bodybuilding. You've done the Olympic weightlifting. Actually, that reminds me of something. You said earlier that you'd like to have goals and you have something to chase for. You posted this little challenge thing. I forgot exactly what it was, but it was like certain amount of pounds, for these things. Like, what is that all about? It looked kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, so there's a certain percentage of your squat max that you should be. So you're, I think, let me pull that up on my telephone. Let's
Yeah, it
see.
was it was like this thing where like you wanted to lift certain weights, certain lifts with certain weights. I was like, oh my gosh, this thing looks intense, and I think you had it like in different levels, right?
It was like, yeah, it's like there's standards.
Yeah.
So for your back squat, right, you should be at a minimal weight, you should be for your back squat, your max should be 1.8 to 2 times your body weight,
Right.
right? And then that's that. And then for your power clean should be 1 time your body weight or 1.2 times your body weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that. And then bench press should be body weight or 70%, like 70% of your body weight.
You also post
So
this
there's those
thing
kind of
actually. It
standards.
says I didn't realize what it said until right now. It says these nuts fitness.
Oh yeah, that's what they call me. Yeah.
These nuts,
Because
hilarious.
yes, okay, so I'm always in a class with people that want to be named D. So any name that starts with D, they're like, "Oh, I go by D." And I'm like,
You can't do that.
"Well, I go by D
Yeah, no.
too." So
Right.
I'm like, so people there was somebody calling roll. I forget if it was I don't know where I was, but they're like D, they're calling me, right? I knew it was me because my name started with a C, so I was the first D on there.
Mhm.
And he was like D, and I was like, D's nuts. And then that's it just now it's stuck and it's there.
Yeah.
And so that's what everyone calls me. And then even like in my professional setting too, they'll be like, oh, there, yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking about D, you're talking about D's nuts. I'm like, oh, great, here we
Yeah.
go.
I think it's funny because even in the professional setting, I think like I don't want to say unprofessional, but there's a part of us that's like not gonna match with the rest of the college or whatever, right? And I don't think people understand that sometimes. Like we are gonna have fun. It is gonna be a little rambunctious. Like I think those are things that people may not realize, and it is part of what makes physical education great, right?
Yeah, I feel like also when you're in a gym setting or a workout setting, you have to have that like what's it called like a gym banter,
Yeah.
where you're having fun like a back and forth like that and it's not always like a positive. Like you have to have when you're working out, you have to have kind of like a switch that you turn on where you're like a kind of like a monster. I don't know, are you old school like that? Like I kind
Right.
of get like, all right, let's go, guys,
Yeah.
come on. And
Yeah.
I think that's where like these nuts came from. I'm like,
Yeah.
step
Yeah.
on the platform, let's lift this,
All right.
and yeah, you turn on a different you. You're not in a classroom setting. You're in the
Right.
gym.
Right.
So
Right.
we have to turn that on and get those weights up and get that pump in. Like you get a little bit nutty, right?
Yeah.
In the gym.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little bit better when I'm louder. People say like, oh, it's like fake. I'm like, no, it's like I'm just better. It's more fun. I
Yeah.
create a certain playlist, and it just I'm like a lot better when I'm able to be a little bit louder, right? So
Well, I mean, just think about science. The physiology changes when you're lifting. Your
right,
blood is flowing, you're getting oxygen into the muscles, into the brain,
right,
you're moving, like your heart's pumping. So, yeah, you need to feel that like upbeat, like craziness. Like
yeah,
you just have to do that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. I think it's a must. I think it's better than getting on a bunch of caffeine and using all like, oh my gosh, I'm
Yeah.
so tired of people like, oh, I need my pre-workout. I'm like, what?
But
Would you
yeah,
just get your butt in there and move? Like, get a warm up. That's what pre workout is.
yeah.
Jeez,
Yeah, it's crazy how like
crazy.
people can be so dependent on that stuff. Like I'll take it sometimes. I actually took it on Wednesday, or no, last Monday. I rarely take them. I just wanted it, and it helped. But I don't want to be like relying on that stuff. And
Yeah.
relying on that now, what's going to happen when I'm 50 and 60, right? I'm trying to get after it.
I well, I understand it from yeah, we're kind of like cutting out a little bit.
Oh,
All right, you're good.
sorry.
I understand it. Like me and you were so busy and we have to turn it on
Right.
like mentally. So I think that's where the pre-workout can help to just kind of wake up the brain a little bit
Yeah.
and to get to the gym. But the main things that are going to fuel your workout is adequate sleep, adequate food, and adequate recovery. If
Yeah.
you have those three things locked in, your workouts are going to be legit. Like they're going to be good and you're going to get to your goal. But if you're constantly not sleeping, going to bed late, scrolling Instagram,
Yeah.
and if you're constantly eating like crap, and if you're constantly like skipping meals, like you're underfueled and overworked, then you try to hit the gym, that's not going to be good. And you're just trying to fuel off of pre-workout,
Right.
you're not going to be able to do anything.
So do you have
So,
your like sleep
but
routine, sleep time pretty much dialed in? Yeah.
yep, yeah. I think because I've gotten smarter as I've aged. Especially with my kids, I want to set an example of them. Me and my husband are so flip flop. He's so opposite of me. Like he sleeps in front of the TV and passes out in the recliner. You know, I'm in bed by 8. Like I have like a whole skin routine. I put on my red light therapy on my
Yeah.
face. I fall asleep. I
Yeah.
do all that by like 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm done.
Right.
I'm
Right.
like dead asleep, and then I wake up. Bing, my body will wake up right at 4, 3:30 or 4.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready, getting my meal preps packed, taking care of the dog, and then I'm out the door coaching. Then my day goes from there.
That's awesome.
So, yeah,
Yeah, I think it's just it's just nice to sh like share these things. I think people get so caught up, and it's like you said earlier, it's more of a time management thing, right? Like if you had a calendar in front of you, you should know what you're doing each hour to an extent, right? And that could change, right? But I think like showing people that like once you're able to figure out this calendar piece, you realize how much time you do have to do whatever it is that you needed to do. Like for all this, have you ever had like a time where you were really down and someone gave you like a really good piece of advice, or there's a quote you live by, or a book or a story that you have that kind of made you like get out of that to if you ever had that in your life?
um, I mean, I could think of a few examples of just seeing family members that aren't able to do what I can do, what my body's able to do. So why not take advantage of it? But I live by a quote by the late and great Steve Prefontaine. It's like, why, how does it go? Holy crud. Why am I forgetting? But um, why sacrifice the gift? Oh, how does it go? Oh my gosh, I'm
Okay,
missing out on
okay.
my favorite quote.
I just know he's the big runner
He's
guy,
a
right?
he's a
So
runner. Yep, yep. So it's to give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift.
right,
Yeah. And the best I can give, I don't know yet. I'm still trying to get there, and I'm already 44, but I feel like there's a lot of kids in their 20s right now that don't even try.
right,
They don't
right,
even want I feel like they don't even want to know. And why would you want to die like that, not
right, right.
knowing what you can do? Like
Yeah,
I'd feel so like I missed out. Like that'd
yeah.
be
Like
super FOMO for me.
yeah, I know. I think that's like an athletic background. Like I rather try and fail than like not try at all. I don't like that feeling. If like, yeah, like you don't win or whatever, but that's not because of effort. Like I'm never gonna lose that way. Like, I'll lose because I suck. If I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lose because I didn't try, that's I can't live with that. Yeah, so I think it's
Totally. Yeah. Cause I mean, you see people in like the Special Olympics that like you see people that don't have legs
right,
running,
right.
hitting world records. I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
that makes me feel,
I know, like I love seeing
yeah,
that
like,
stuff. And, like I know sometimes it sounds corny to people, but I'm like, there are people. You hear the quote. I think it's the quotes like, people are doing more, with less than you. Like hearing
yes,
or seeing that, you're like, dude, like, what excuse do I have? Like, and in the day, like, our jobs are pretty easy. We're not going out there in the sun pouring concrete. Like, it's not. Yeah, it's a grind, but it's not. I've been fortunate or unfortunate to see the other side of that for a little bit of my life, and I was like, I can't imagine working like that. For
yeah,
for a lot of years, and people do that. So like, who are we to waste this energy, to
exactly.
not have fun doing what we do.
Yeah, or see what our bodies are capable. I feel like it's a way of like, and I grew up religious and it's like you honor thy body. Like I feel like that is a way to honor our body and what we are given, and it's a way to show that we are grateful for what we have.
Yeah.
So, take care of it because they're, and just going through life and watching other people that are our age,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of them that cannot even get out of their cars. It's hard
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
that is alarming to me. I'm like, holy crud. And I see that in some of my students, and I tell them, I don't want you to be one of those.
Right,
Like, I
right.
want you to be able to get out of your car, get your groceries, and carry all of those grocery
Oh, that's the
bags in one
best. That's the
trip.
best feeling. That's the best
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for someone to say, "Hell yeah!" Because I do. I do. I'm like, I hope someone's looking this time. Because I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." And no
Have you
one
seen
said
that?
like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta recreate that meme. There's a picture out there where there's a guy carrying all his grocery bags, and then he has one grocery bag he's carrying with his butt cheeks.
oh no,
He's
yeah,
all the groceries, one trip. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
I just want one day someone to be like, "Dude, hell yeah!" It
Yep.
happened yet, but I'm not gonna change. I want to do it. It's fun. It's cool. And like, for me, I'm fortunate. I have my little guy. He's 7. Like he still thinks I'm the strongest person in the world. And I'm like, dude, I'm
Yes.
not at all. But like, it's cool for him to think that. So like, some days I'm tired. I'm lifting. I think that. So it's like cool motivation, right?
I love that. Yeah. That's a big motivator for parents. I feel like if I didn't have my kids, I'm like, I wonder if I'd be doing as much as I am now.
You probably
Because
would.
after
You probably
I
would.
don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like they are a huge reason why I have to prove myself. And you'll see when your little one gets older, he's gonna
Yeah.
try to roast you. Like
Right.
my daughter used to be like, my mom's the strongest. I still have her Mother's Day cards where she drew me with these big muscles, and
Yeah.
mom has big hands to carry all the stuff. Like
Yeah.
that was her card. And now she's just talks stuff to me. She's like, Mama, you know that I'm the athlete of the family, right? Not you.
Oh
I'm like,
man.
oh,
Yeah.
here we go. Here we go. So
But I
so
think
now
it's
I gotta lift more.
Yeah, it's just cool, like, being around, like, I think we're very fortunate to be around, like, college students, like, we push them, they push us, and it's a good thing. Um, so one more thing. Is there a book recommendation that you have, or a podcast, anything like that can kind of maybe help people bring energy or motivation, or be more positive? Do you have anything like that?
Ooh, I suck at books right now because I
Okay.
just finished my master's like a year ago. I haven't read a book.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know how that went. I know how that went. Yeah. Okay.
I'm like, I don't want to read anything right now. And I'm really into like Joe Rogan podcast is my
Oh, yeah,
favorite.
yeah,
I don't know if I'd recommend that to people, but I
yeah,
I like his stuff, and I like his guests on there,
yeah.
and I like
I
what they
like it
talk
because it's very,
about.
it's very diverse. You can get a comedian on there. You can
Yes.
get some kind of scientist. You can get an MMA guy. I think
Yeah.
it's cool. Um,
Yeah, he's my favorite.
yeah,
Um,
good.
yeah. No, I feel like my life is so busy right now, and it really, like, my books and TV shows and everything really does revolve around my what my kids are doing
Right,
right now.
right.
So yeah, but yeah, that's my life. I'm just so busy.
Cool. Well, I'll take it.
Business all
Well,
day.
well, well, thanks again. Yeah, I'll share this out there so you'll have it, and then I'll see you on campus.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. I'll see you out there. We
All right.
gotta we gotta do like a combined class one day.
Yeah, we're gonna do it again. We'll do it. We're gonna figure out. I think it'll be easier in the summer or fall now. So
Well, when we have the gym up. I can't
yeah,
wait till we get the gym
yeah,
again.
we'll have it. All right, coach. We'll talk later.
Bye, coach.